Arizona today beat Cal 96-71. They did it without Azuolas Tubelis. They are doing to the Pac-12 right now what Gonzaga normally does to the WCC. Tommy Lloyd, of course, is their head coach, longtime Gonzaga assistant. They have pros all over their roster. They are big. They are athletic. They shoot the hell out of it. They're fun to watch. So I got to ask you, Randolph, I'm going to you first on this one. Mm-hmm. Why aren't we talking about this team more as potentially being the number one team in college basketball right now?
Because they have played absolutely nobody. They played Tennessee on the road, and we were talking about that, and they, close game, very easily could have won that game. We think Tennessee is probably the fifth, sixth best team in the SEC, and outside of that, I'm waiting on someone to tell me who they play. Do we believe they're talented? Absolutely, but I think as the competition steps up for these guys, we'll see more after the UCLA game tomorrow night as they play better opponents. Some of these numbers will just drop. I don't believe the guys will have these percentages and these numbers, and then we'll get a real feel for Arizona, in my opinion. I love Benedict. I think he's as good as Benedict. I think he's as good as any guard in the country. But again, I need to see them against better competition more consistently than they had to play.
Arizona has not played a top 75 KenPom team in Pac-12 play. They played 6 games in the Pac-12. They haven't played a top 75 KenPom team. Like everything we knock Gonzaga for, like schedule-wise, every single year we come, they play WCC, they don't play anybody. Gonzaga in their first 4 WCC games has played 3 teams who are ranked higher in KenPom than any team Arizona has played in Pac-12 play so far.
And let's add the schedule that Gonzaga played outside of
the non-conference,
right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Non-conference is not even any discussion.
Right. I mean, Arizona did play at Tennessee, at Illinois. They played neutral against Michigan, and that's it, right? Like I think for me, and that's the thing that should hold you back. But talent-wise, absolutely they belong in the conversation. I mean, they have certainly one clear first-round pick in Matherin. Another guy in Christian Coloco, who is the most impactful defensive player in college basketball because of his job he does at the rim. Tubelis is terrific. Krisa is nails. And I think they have the best glue guy in college basketball in Dalen Terry. I mean, that guy is all over the court. He does all the little things. He passes the ball. He defends multiple positions. He's a great slasher. I mean, the talent is 100% there. I mean, I'm fully in. Teams are shooting 39% from 2 against Arizona.
See, that's the thing. I can't buy none of the stats because when you play inferior competition, your stats are gonna look good. Like, you can't say one thing like that, and you're spot on. We're saying the same thing, and then go, they holding them 30. They're supposed to. They're just better. Like their fifth guy is better than half the teams or guys that they played against right now. And there's no credit to them. They're super talented. They could beat anybody. Having said that, but having them ranked 3rd in the country right now is a bit high for me considering their schedule.
See, I'm not as worried about it because we've seen them blow the doors off Michigan, right? And I know Michigan's not all that good, but beating them the way they beat them is impressive. We've seen them go into Illinois and beat up on Illinois on a night where Illinois' guards were going nuts. Trent Frazier and Alfonso Plummer. I don't have the box score in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that I was going to say combined they made like 37 threes between the two of them, something like that. They had Christian Coloco, who, like, in my mind, when I thought about him heading into the season, I was like, 7-footer, weighs 118 pounds. Don't have to worry about him. He guarded Kofi one-on-one for the majority of the second half and did a really good job against Kofi Coburn one-on-one on the block. So I look at that team, I look at the way that they play, I look at the talent, and I can just say like that they are going to be a nightmare to play against. Because I mean, they get up and down. You see so much of Gonzaga in them, and I know that we should expect that because it's Tommy Lloyd. But the stuff they do running up and down, the ball screen stuff they do in half court, the way that they try to get those seals over and over and over again, the way that they just let guys shoot with reckless abandon. Like I think I don't think you can rank them number one because I don't think they have the resume to justify it. But I do think that you can very much sit here and say, yes, Arizona is the best team in college basketball right now. I still think it's Auburn, but I would not have a problem with someone saying that it was Arizona.
I was at that Arizona-Illinois game. And I think the thing that stood out to me the most about what Arizona did was Illinois executed its game plan about as well as they could have hoped in the second half, right? They got post touches for Kofi Coburn, which is essential to what they do. They hit a dozen threes, and they locked down Ben Mathurin. After Mathurin had an awesome first half, he had like 22 in the first half. He only had 8 in the second half. They made Kerr Kriisa beat them. And Kerr Kriisa went on the road in, I would say, a top 5 environment in the sport this season. That place was bananas, and he won them that basketball game. Mm-hmm. He had 17 in the second half. He was making plays in ball screens. Like, that should tell you just how talented they are, that their 4th or their 5th option offensively went on the road against the top 20 team in the country in a crazy atmosphere and won them the game. And it should tell you a lot about Tommy Lloyd's poise as a first-year coach, that they were not phased at all in that environment. So, I mean, I think I'm a believer from that perspective. But again, at some point, like, and look, they will get tested in the next 2 weeks. That we should mention that they're playing UCLA
they will get tested in the next 2 days.
Yes. You're going to say the next 24 hours.
Yeah, they're at UCLA on Tuesday night at 11 o'clock. They're actually, you know what? I got to text somebody I got to text McCrone to let him know he's conflicting with the Tuesday night edition of the Field of 68 After Dark, which will be on YouTube, which will be on Twitter, which will be on Sirius XM 84, the ESPNU station. We got to let them know that they got to move that time of the game, move it up, move it back, tip it at midnight, do something.
And ironically, they're inviting fans. They were playing, they didn't have fans.
Yeah.
And then it's ironic, Arizona coming in town. We're gonna get some people up in here now. It's funny how that works.
It was kind of, I don't know if I want to go down there, but I will just say that like 10 miles away from Pauley Pavilion is the Rams Stadium. And when you have 80,000 people playing in there like one afternoon, and then that night you can't have fans in Pauley Pavilion, it's just like, what are we doing? Like, why?
You let's just call it what it is. You made yourself look worse even doing it. Like, no arena in the country, football this year or basketball, has emptied their arena for any reason. So why start? Like stop it.
Yeah. That's kind of where I was at with it too. It is what it is. We don't have to go down that road though. I do want to ask you guys this. So with that game coming up, I feel like this is a chance. I feel like a lot of people have kind of forgotten about UCLA a little bit. And personally, I've kind of gotten to the point where I don't know if I trust them enough defensively to be able to say that they are as good as I thought that they were. Now, we talked about COVID pauses and issues with Michigan. We got to say the same thing about this UCLA team, right? Like, they were down for what? An entire month, basically. I think
we forgot about it.
Yeah, they weren't practicing. I forgot that there was even games in the Pac-12. So Randolph, let me hit you on that one. Like, how important is winning this game for UCLA? How big is this game for both of these teams? I feel like there's so much to prove for both teams in this matchup. And I hate that once again, we have this marquee, huge, standalone college basketball game at 11 o'clock on a weeknight. Come on.
They got to make so many games up, but both teams need it. I think both teams need just to see where they are, right? Like regardless of the win or loss, they need to get a barometer of where is my team right now. You get these pauses. You're playing against inferior competition most of the time. This is one of the few big tests that they're going to have for the remainder of the year, both of them. So for what both of these teams, and they are Final Four talent potential teams, this is one of the few matchups you're going to get where you've got enough reps and got enough practice now where COVID's out of the issue. Let's see where we are. Win or lose, both teams are going to come out of this one way or the other and feel like, hey, we got a long way to go, or we're closer than I thought, or whatever it is. I think it's January, right? I mean, they're going to see each other again. And now, if we were talking this in the next month, going into the Pac-12 conference tournament, then we talk about something. Then we'll have to see.
I will say this: we say Arizona, their schedule is light, but they are blowing those teams out. UCLA's schedule is light; they're not blowing anybody out, and that's the concerning thing for me. Right? Like, if you look at their 5 Pac-12 games that they've played in January, they beat Cal by 8. Cal is not a good basketball team. They then turn around and lost at home to Oregon. I get that they didn't have fans. I understand that. They still lost at home to Oregon. They beat Oregon State at home by 16. Okay, fine. Finally blew them out. Then this week on the road at Utah, they won by 5 in a game that was, I think, tied in the final 2 minutes of the game. And then they beat Colorado by 6 in a game that was one possession game with 30 seconds left, right? Like at some point, like I almost feel like you have to reward Arizona for blowing those teams out, unless you want to say, let's throw up all the alarm bells for UCLA, because they're not overwhelming the rest of the Pac-12 right now. They're just not. And these are the same teams. These are teams in the 85 to 150 range in the net, right? Like that's concerning to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Just and for the record, I agree with everything that you're saying right there. I will just play a little bit devil's advocate. When you're playing in a gym with nobody there, and you're still kind of coming off of the COVID pauses, and so you had guys that were actually sick, and it wasn't just you had to sit in your dorm room. You had guys that were actually sick. You're trying to get those reps in. You're rusty because you haven't run offense, and now you got this team coming in that is playing some of their best basketball, like Oregon. And you have to go and play in front of nobody in your home gym, when just a month ago it was one of the best environments in college basketball we've seen in a long time when Villanova came to town. So I can give them a little bit of pass on that one.
I almost think the Oregon game is like the least concerning of the four. I'd rather that's fine. Yeah.
The only other thing I would say is that the trip in the Pac-12 to Colorado and to Utah is the toughest road trip in college basketball. When you kind of factor in like the level of the teams, right? I think there's something like that, like it averages like less than one time a year that somebody sweeps that road trip when they go to those. I mean, you're playing 2 games in 3 nights at altitude with a bunch of kids that are like from Southern California and areas like those.
That's fair.
We knocked the Pac-12 being soft all the time, and now we're going to ask you to go play in 7,000 feet altitude back-to-back games. And look, Tad Boyle, the other Coach K, the taller Coach K, Larry Krystkowiak, those dudes, they can coach, right? They may not have great talent, but those guys.
Larry Krystkowiak's not coaching Utah right now, but
that's right, Craig Smith. I said the same thing the other night. That tells you how much I pay attention to the Utah Utes. There you go. Well, Craig Smith is a great coach too.
Craig Smith is an elite coach, absolutely, no doubt.
He's a great coach too. So my point stands, even though I said the wrong name.
I would bet Mick Cronin is actually wanting to play this game too as a wake-up call for his team. You know, a team that's the Final Four team a year ago. I bet they're probably sleepwalking through some of these games anyway. And I bet he's looking for something like this to kind of, hey, you know what? That's not guaranteed to us. We got to tighten it up. He's looking for a game like that. They'll be ready to play tomorrow night, though.